So to start, we need Brussels sprouts. And here they are. I've already pre-shredded them, if you will. So I pre-shredded those. I saved 3 different sizes because I want to show you a little something about that. Kerrygold, salted or unsalted. I just got unsalted butter because, believe it or not, that's the dish. The first one. The second one, we're gonna add some crumbled blue cheese, some spicy, sweet and spicy candied pecans, some dates. You don't have to use these particular ones. And I've just kind of cut them up into little bits and pieces like that, about 1/4 inch. Secret ingredient, rendered bacon fat. Yes, I said rendered bacon fat. Salt and pepper, as usual. And then this little guy, every Trader Joe's across the country has this, is a balsamic glaze. Let me show you this real quick. Cut off the bottom, slice it in half. What we're gonna do is chiffonade, otherwise shred, with a sharp knife. And you wanna get them as thin as possible. You will not get every slice the same exact width. You can slice it this way, or you can slice it this way, whichever is easiest for you. And you just work from the top down to the bottom. And that's how much you get out of just one large Brussels sprout. So it doesn't really matter, just want to show you what size they are, because sometimes you'll find them all like this. Sometimes you'll find them more like that. Sometimes you'll find them as a mix. So don't freak because we're not roasting them, in which case they all need to be approximately the same size, right? Because they all have to roast at the same time. But because we're shredding these, it doesn't really matter. The other thing I want to mention is if you will have some leaves that sort of come off, right? See that? They'll just kind of fall off. Just kind of stack those up as if you're going to do chiffonade. And then take one of your halves, stick them on top, right? And now you're slicing them all those little loosey-gooseys. And you're good to go. Let's get to the stove. Medium-sized skillet that I'm going to put over moderately high heat. And you don't have to use a non-stick for this. I'm gonna put in the butter. We're gonna make my go-to standby for flavoring quickie, brown butter. So we're gonna do a Beurre Noisette with Kerrygold butter. And that is gonna give you an amazing depth of flavor, a nuttiness that you would not get, right? If you're just gonna melt some butter and saute it in the butter and you're done. One of the reasons I like this recipe so much is because once they hit the fat, it doesn't take that long. Okay, there we go, see that? There's that color. That dark brown we want just before it goes. That's the sound of burning. So what we're gonna do with this, literally, is just saute until they go limp and you can see the green color pop, right? Because now the chlorophyll is heating up and you see the green just go. The only other thing we're gonna add is salt. I'm using my Diamond Kosher, pepper, and that's it. I just want to show you 2 variations. You do not want to cook these until they're nice and soft. Otherwise it's gonna and not taste good. That's it. You still want some crunch. See that? That's all. We're done. Put those in a platter or on a plate. That's dish number 1. Now we're gonna do dish number 2. Now we're gonna take the basic and turn it into something a little more interesting, depending on what you're serving. So here's my bacon fat. It's smoking. Take it off the heat. It's a little too hot. You can saute these the same way, no color, right? Just limp. Okay, I'll put the... Now these are making a lot more noise because the fat's hotter. That's all. Now I'm gonna add some salt and pepper, just like I did before. And this is all to taste, really. But you can download the recipes. The recipes are there. They're very, very simple. But I would suggest you do what? Read it and leave it, especially with these simple ones. You know, I know I do recipes sometimes where I even say there's really no point in having a recipe. This is one of them, really, but that's pretty much done. I like that, keep some crunchiness there. Because when you keep that crunchiness, you not only have a nice texture, you get the sweetness. Yeah, there's actually some sweetness in Brussels sprouts. When you cook them a long time, you end up sort of emphasizing that cruciferous part of it, which is the smell. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the heat. Add some chopped dates. Now you can add cranberry if you want. I mean, that's sort of like the go-to, right? But believe it or not, I really like the dates in here because they have a, I think, more interesting flavor. I'm gonna put some of the nuts there. I'm gonna go ahead and put it here in our platter. Here's the blue cheese. You don't need a lot. Don't put a ton of this on there. You just want this for a little spark of flavor. You don't want this to be like a wedge salad with a ton of blue cheese. Just a bit. You can put some balsamic glaze drizzle on top. And that, as they say, is that. Version number 2. I think we need to taste these. Ta-da! That's about as simple as you can get, right? So altogether, I made 2 dishes in less than 10 minutes, not counting the shredding of the Brussels sprouts. So let's taste these. Never ceases to amaze me how just brown butter will give so much amazing flavor to something. Try that with any vegetable, really, but it's really good with the Brussels sprouts. Now this one. It's got the saltiness from the cheese. It's got the sweetness, right, from the dates. And it has that crunch and little bit of heat from the spicy candied pecans. And you get a little background note of bacon. It's not like bacon. Not that there's anything wrong with bacon, but you don't really want that in this. These are phenomenal dishes. They'll pair with all kinds of stuff. I think you need to subscribe if you'd like to see more of this. Like and share, because share the love, basically. That's what it comes down to. Keep cooking.